Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a disassembly for you of this little guy. This is the Wee Knife, well, it is Wee Knives. It's Civivi Anthropos. And it is it's the Civivi line. It's their budget line, and it's a very, very interesting piece. This represents, I believe, Elijah Isham, who is a designer I've had on the, well, not had on the channel. I've had his work on the channel a lot. But this is his very first budget-focused piece, and through the Civivi line, and that's frankly great. I love seeing high-end design at a lower-end price point. That brings me some joy. So to start with, by the way, this guy started off scented. The action on it, though, is not amazing. It is a little bit sluggish. It is a little bit, the tent isn't so crispy. I'm not a big fan of how this knife is running, so I'm hoping very, very much that this guy will actually, it'll cheer up nicely, so to speak. Once I put in some, once I give it some DLC here, it will, it'll run a lot better than it is right now. That's always the disadvantage with budget-friendly knives. Oh, that was bad. It's always the disadvantage with budget-friendly knives. Okay, maybe it wasn't so bad. It wouldn't have slid. Anyways, dangerous. Is that, very often the factories don't have the time to really give them the love that they deserve, right? Actually, to get this out of the way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the pivot through, pull the blade out. Now it's safe. Hey, and screw this up as much as I'd like, and it won't hurt me. So anyways, yeah, this is, that's always one disadvantage. There's not as much time for the factory to sit there and tweak and get the action perfect before they have to get it on the road to the next person. So, yeah. Whoa. So, this guy does not have, unlike some of the other Civivis, a polished liner, on the outside at least. Doesn't have the anodization or anything like that. It appears to be running more or less completely dry. It's not amazing. So hopefully we will do some good here. And either this is real carbon fiber or they've put the sticker on both sides. Not sure which, but it is what it is. If you're ever curious about the tools I'm using to do this disassembly, go ahead and check my knife disassembly toolkit video, which I believe I now link at nickshabazz.com/tools, which will, link you to that video directly, always. So, yeah, there you go. Or maybe it's toolkit. I think it's tools. I should check that before I start giving it out. Every damn time, though, even when I have this disclaimer, I've got somebody in the comments saying, "Oh my God, what screwdriver is that? What's this fluid? Oh, it says nano oil on the bottle. How would I purchase this? Wherever could this be found? Is there any resource, perhaps on the internet, where I could type the name of that product into it, and it might link me to the maker's webpage?" I don't know. It's really tough to say. But, yeah, there's always that, even with that link, but I'm just doing my best to get ahead of it, right? So anyways, the Anthropos here is a very interesting piece. My first impression, though, has not been profoundly positive because, like I said, the action hasn't been great. It's been running just not super smoothly. The detent isn't super satisfying. It's just hasn't been so great. So I have hopes and dreams that this is going to get a lot better once I manage to pop it or get it together, but we'll see. One thing that's worth highlighting here, come on now, is this little guy. See here, there is a little lip, so to speak, on the inside of the pivot. This little lip on the pivot goes with this little lip on the G10 there, and that prevents this. That not only keeps this C for Civivi oriented properly, but it prevents the pivot, that is, from spinning freely, which is a very nice little detail. I really, truly love when makers do that. That's great. Actually, since I was just mentioning the nano oil, I'll go ahead and use the nano oil. They were about equivalent here. Knife pivot lube is the other stuff I was just holding. But nevertheless. So I'll go ahead and drop the nano oil in here. And put this guy back together. Guys, I am hashtag not a brilliant man today. That's okay. Put that in there. I'll just use this to rotate it around a little bit. Why not? And then we'll drop on a blade here. There you go. Have a blade. On top of that blade, I will put a little bit of oil into the detent ball hole. This might make a difference here. Or put a ton of oil into the detent ball hole. I will drip some drips right there. I've dripped the drip. It's like having dreamed a dream. Whatever. It works. And then we are pretty much ready to put this guy back together. I'll go ahead and Sure. Actually, I shouldn't mix lubricants, I suppose. Go ahead and do this right here. There we go. Beautiful. Alrighty. So, let's pop this back together. Took a little doing to get it apart, so it might take a little doing to get it together. I'll pop this over there, and then... What is this thing's problem here? It feels like there's a fair amount of tension. Like this pin here doesn't want to seat right. So what I'm going to do is kind of slide things around, and hopefully that will pop in. Or maybe I need to pop that in first. So the way this is working, by the way, is you've got a single screw here. You've got a little pin in the middle there, and then you've got your pivot screw in at the end there. So what's seeming to happen right now is that I'm able to get the far screw in place. I'm able to get the pivot in place, but that middle pin just didn't want to go into position here. Something's a little bit cattywampus here. It could just be that things are a little bit out of spec here, and as a result, it's not easy to get all three in at once. Okay, that's popped in. Okay, cool. Okay. So that just, the two things just clicked into place. I'm going to go ahead, hold this down with my hand to make sure they stay in position. Grab the wrong driver. That's always a good strategy. Going to apply some thread locker here, blue thread locker. Screw this into position. Come on. There we go. In you go. Now, hopefully that'll keep both this and this in place and allow me to get down here to the pivot. And I'll pop the pivot, or I'll pop the knife closed there. It seemed to be running smoother even in that one little close, but we'll see. And I'll put a little Loctite here. Oh, there's more than a little bit of Loctite. Whatever. Works. And slide this into position. Okay, right now it is probably over tight, so I will loosen it up a little bit. That's better. That is, in fact, much better. I bet I can run this looser, though. I hope I can run this looser, though. Ah, blade play. Okay, tighten this up a little bit. Still blade play. Okay, looks like I'm running tighter. There we go. We are in position. And not exactly dropping shut. Yeah. Okay, let me see if I can tweak this back screw here now that everything's in position. Maybe if I loosen that and then tweak it back down a little bit, and it'll take some tension out of the system. Let things run a little better. Still not dropping shut. Doesn't necessarily need to for, you know, the price of it here, but it's I don't know. Yeah. Certainly not Civivi's best work, I'll say that much, compared to the Statera, I forget which, and the come on, the Backlash, the Praxis, all of those guys. Not quite up to that same standard of build quality here, but it's certainly still working well. I mean, for the price of this guy, still pretty impressive relative to what we had a few years ago. But anyways, there you go. Hope this has been interesting to you, and that you have yourselves just an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.